How you doing? Adam Rafferty here with a little guitar lesson. I'm going to try to give you some inspiration to check out voice leading and harmony today. If you learned guitar the way I learned guitar, you probably, or if you're learning guitar, the way that I learned was I started with chord shapes. So I knew C and I knew G and D, D7, A minor. That's kind of a normal way to learn guitar. And I started by playing Beatles songs using those chord shapes. And what's great about those chord shapes is they can get you up and running really quickly, and you can enjoy playing music right away. The downside of learning those chord shapes is it's very hard to break through to the next level of understanding harmony, which is only going to make playing more satisfying and more beautiful. So I'm going to show you a little thing that you can pay attention to start orienting your brain and ears and eyes towards that will hopefully open some new doors for you playing wise. So let's play an A chord. Now I'm playing this with my second, third, and fourth finger, and I'm wiggling the neck because my strings are old and a little bit out of tune. Now what I'd like you to do is just take the top three strings of that. We're only going to work for now with the top three strings. And let's even make it better for illustrative purposes. Let's do the top down. And the reason that I want you to start seeing it from the top down is to break out of this chord shape emanating from a bottom note up idea. Okay? Now if I said let's move to a D chord, you probably would play. And the good news is that is totally correct harmonic motion. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on. Instead of seeing it like grips, let's try to see that as three singers. Imagine you have three backup singers in your band, in your imaginary band, and one is singing this, the next one is singing, and the third one's singing that one. And you want them to move to a D harmony. This singer would move to there. This singer would move to the here. And this singer would stay on that note going to the D chord, and then stay on that note going back to the A chord. So now if we could see these top three strings as three voices rather than a grip. Of course you have to use a grip to play it. But let's try to see them as voices. And the playing from the top down will sort of enable you to see that. Now E goes up to F sharp, this C sharp goes to D. In the key of A, if we were to assign numbers, that would be a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 1 chord. If you don't understand why, don't worry about that. We're just going to call it that. The funny thing is, sometimes when I've done lessons with people, I say play a C chord, a triad, and I get them to play this triad. I start them there, and I say now move that to an F chord. And you know what most guitar students do? And I did this also when my harmony teacher busted me on it. I just went, oh, no problem. I'm a smart guy. I see that C is the bottom note, and well, if that's the, guess what? That just broke all the rules of harmony. It sounds crazy that it did because it makes logical sense, but seeing them as voices, I didn't move in the most efficient way. And this, in a choir or a string setting, if that was thought of as three voices, that would sound bad actually, because those intervals don't sound so nice. It's called parallel fifths. Anyway, maybe I'm getting too far off the deep end. What I want you to do, well, the point I wanted to make was it's rare that people would do this. But of course, when you're in your open chord position, you see that right away. Okay. that's just an example of how bar chords and shapes can lead you into voice leading trouble. So let's take it a step further. I'd like to go to what's called a 5 chord, and we're going to play the top 3 notes of an E chord, but just the top 3 notes, and then we're going to bring it back. So the chord progression is 1, 4, 1, 5. Okay? When we moved from the A triad to the E triad, E stayed. It's called the common tone. C sharp came down to B, A came down to G sharp. What you can practice is just 1, 4, 1, 5, 1 in the following manner. And just look at it. Okay? And then if you'd like, with your thumb, you can just add the bass string that would correspond, but you're only allowed to play 4 notes. These top 3 notes as a choir and a bass note. And what would be extra helpful is to sing each one, ba, 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 and then ba, 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 ba. Sorry for the out-of-tune singing. Ba, 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 and then ba, 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 ba. What you're going to be doing by experiencing that, some new connections are going to be made in your mind, in your ears, and in your eyes. And you're going to see the guitar in a new way. You're going to start looking for voices rather than grips. As a result, your music will probably, in a few weeks, months, start to be more satisfying and more beautiful, because a lot of beautiful music comes out of what's called voice leading. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and thanks for listening. God bless.